welcome to the channel. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Join me today for a full review on this gorgeous Sea Dweller Homage by Phylida. I did an unboxing about a week ago and now it's time to follow up with the full review. This beast, absolute beast of a watch. Wrist check before we go on. I've got the Merca Ocean Master on this beads of rice strap. Okay, so Phylida, they are doing really well. Yes, the name, we all know, we all had a good laugh and joke about the name. The jokes are absolutely endless. However, they really haven't established a good name. They were thinking about it in the early days when they first came around. I think around the time I did the review on the Aquaterra GMT homage. However, they really haven't come up with anything that they can stick to. But names aside, they are doing some really fantastic things. In the unboxing video, I looked at the No Time to Die Seamaster homage, and that looked absolutely amazing. And now I also bought this one to check out. So let's see what Phylida have got to offer. So let's go ahead, take a look at the specifications first. So this is a double dome sapphire crystal on the watch. As you can see, it looks absolutely huge, and there is no colored AR coating. I'm not too sure if it has clear AR coating present. The watch also has a ceramic bezel insert. It's full 316L stainless steel case construction, bracelet, and bezel. Now, aside from that, this watch actually boasts 500 meters of water resistance, and I might add in allegedly, right? I don't think this has been tested by any means. However, it does say 500 meters on the dial, and it comes with a helium escape valve. Now, the movement in this watch, you have two options. You have the Seiko Epson NH35 movement, and you've got the PT5000 movement. Now, I've gone with the NH35. It was slightly cheaper. However, I bought it with a view to do the other things to this watch. So that's why I need the NH35 in this. However, the PT5000 is also available. Now, the difference between the movements, one is, the very common, very reliable Seiko Epson movement, the NH35, with a beat rate of 21,600 vibrations per hour. It's got a hack and hand wind function. It also gives you a date complication. Now, the PT5000, similar complications, similar functions. However, that is a high beat movement with a beat rate of 28,800 vibrations per hour, and it's basically an ETA clone. So the price difference, so the NH35 will set you back around £120, which equates to approximately $160, and the PT5000 will set you back around $150, which equates to roughly around $200. So there is a $40 difference, but in pounds, a lesser difference, a £30 difference, which, totally justified. £30 more for a high beat movement. Why not? Okay, now we got the specifications out the way. I bet you're all interested in the dimensions of this heavy duty monster. So let's go ahead and look at some dimensions. So you've got a case diameter of around 44 millimeters. You've got a lug to lug of 52.5, and you've got a thickness of 18 mil. This is probably the thickest watch that I've reviewed to date, and this baby is thick, as you can tell. Now, lug to lug, that is going to be slightly affected by the bracelet. So the bracelet has male solid end links. Now, with those added in, the total measurement now comes to around 56 millimeters. As you can tell, the curvature on the case isn't so much. So I think with these male links, they might affect the overall fit on the wrist. Not only that, you do have a lug width of 21 millimeters, so quite an awkward lug width. And then the tapering on the stainless steel bracelet provided is about 1 millimeter. So it starts at 21 and it ends up at 20 mil at the clasp. You've got full solid links, solid end links. You've got a fully milled clasp. And you've got split pins that hold the bracelet together. The weight on this mammoth of a watch is 245 grams, so very substantial, and that's on the bracelet that they have provided. So a very, very weighty watch indeed. And a lot of that weight, is worth mentioning, is basically here in the watch head. So it does, you can definitely see when you do pick it up that that is where all the weight is concentrated. So the loom is actually quite good on the Phylida. As you can see, it's BGW9. The ceramic bezel insert is loomed, so are the hands. Now the bezel insert and the loom on the hands is quite bright. It's a lot brighter than the loom that is present on the dial. The dial is just a bit dull, but it's not too bad. The one thing which I don't actually like here is they put a pip at the 12 o'clock, which is dark blue. Doesn't really go with the watch, and they should have left it off. But they've done pretty well in the loom department. So as we saw in the loom shot, that there is a pip on the actual bezel insert. Now I know it's there because it's what's also present on the actual Sea Dweller. However, with the loomed ceramic bezel insert, they should have left it off in my opinion. But let's have a look at the bezel now. So we've got a Submariner style bezel slash Sea Dweller style. We've got the scallops. It's finished quite well. It's not sharp at all. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now let's check out the all-important bezel rotation. So 120 click unidirectional bezel. I'm not completely won over by the sound, but I will say this, that there's no backplay, hardly anything. There's no play in the bezel, seems pretty solid. On the alignment side, let's go ahead, check that. So alignment is just off slightly to the left, but it's not by a large margin. But the bezel overall, I'd say it's a pretty decent attempt at the bezel. The sound could be better, but as it goes, as it stands, is pretty much okay. I think you'd be happy with that. You'd be satisfied, let's say. Now we can move on now to the case. And as you mentioned in the dimensions, the case is absolutely monstrous on this watch. But then again, it is a big watch, so you won't be buying this if you're looking for a small watch. So to me, what the Sea Dweller, the actual Rolex Sea Dweller is a beefed up version to the Submariner. And this is what this is. So a very thick case, and you've got the same finishing that you find on the Submariners. So you've got a brushed A face, brushed down to the lug tips. You've got linear brushing present. Sides of the case are highly polished. Now, with regards to the helium release valve, I don't know how you operate this thing. I don't know if it just stays like that and it just functions as a helium release valve, or if you can actually at least press it out. I can't seem to figure out what to do with it, but it is there. Now, looking at the rest of the case, there's not much more to it. Let's go have a look at the case back. And you've got this black cardboard case back with just some specifications present: 500 meters, water resistance, automatic, sapphire, etc, etc. So that's okay, nice and plain. The crown is quite substantial in this watch, as you'd expect. It's quite thick. The diameter of the crown is 7.8 millimeters. So you've got some really nice crown guards. You can see some polishing just along the top there. Let's screw that out. Single click for the date. Double click, hacking and setting the time. The grip's okay on the crown as well. Overall on the case, there's no sharpness. It's been finished pretty decently, and there's no sharp edges, as I mentioned. the brushing is okay, the polishing is okay as well. So overall, I think aesthetically, they have done quite a good job, and that is pretty evident from Phylida's other watches, and especially that Seamaster homage I've got. I was very impressed with that, and when I do the review, I'll let you know, guys, know how that is. So watch in question, let's look at the bracelet now, which is what's left. So the end links are solid. I mentioned they're awkward size, 21mm. The fit and finish is actually really good. As you can see, they fit flush, there's no gapping, it's fully brushed, linear brushing all the way down. And as I mentioned, solid end links. The spring bars they use in these are the 1.6, 1.8 mil spring bars, which is a good size, and that ensures that your bracelet does fit nice and snug. Now, my main problem with this bracelet is it's an oyster style bracelet, but there's no taper. You know, a 1 mil taper isn't really enough. It would be nice to see a little taper, especially on a watch this big, but you do get heft, you get some thickness out of the bracelet. Now, overall, the bracelet, it's decent. The only thing is with the split pins that it uses, I feel that you don't get a very smooth articulation between the links. They don't really move as smooth as they should with those pin and collar style or screw-in pins. And should they have gone for screw-in pins? Possibly, but they also have their own problems. If it's not done well, you get threads that get worn down, you get screw heads that get just ripped off basically, and it doesn't really work. Screws start coming out, etc. So, but all in all, it's pretty decent. And of course, you do get a milled clasp with 3 micro adjustments. And looking at the links, you do get plenty of links. Let's try this on the wrist. No, I just put that straight on, so there's a lot of space there. Okay, so this is, yeah, so my wrist is 6.5 inches, and here's the Phylida, the Sea Dweller Homage sitting on that. And you know, it's a 52.5 mil lug to lug watch. The diameter isn't the issue, because I've got watches with a slightly larger diameter. This is Seiko Turtles, come with this sort of diameter. It's just a lug to lug, but it seems to sit pretty fine. It seems to sit okay. Now, the only issue with these cases is, and that's why you do want a smaller case with when it comes to these sub style cases, is, you know, they don't really curve around the wrist. So the side profile on the wrist isn't the best. It looks like it's just sitting on top rather comfortably. So I think you do need quite a bigger wrist to actually pull this off comfortably. You know, even though I haven't sized it, you can tell it's just not going to sit right. So it is a thick watch, but again, the reason you're looking at this watch is because you've got the wrist size to accommodate it. Okay, I think I'm ready to summarize now. About Phylida, as I mentioned in the intro, Phylida do have a great eye for detail. I think the people behind it, or the person responsible for Phylida, can make very decent watches. They have surprised me, and every time I have bought a Phylida, looking at the, you know, the construction, the material, the overall build quality is a very good level. I already said it, I think it's past Pagani design. It's better than them. It's better than the Bleegers and the Courjus. However, I think just small touches on the bracelet, I think this is what's gonna have the most negative feedback about this watch. I think the bracelet, they should have tried a bit more on it, maybe screw-in links, a bit of a taper, and just, you know, gone for something that just felt a bit more premium. As it stands, it's a very decent bracelet, yeah, but it's nothing special, or that you, when you hold it in your hand, you think, wow, that's a very nice bracelet. It's not. As this stands, the NH35 for 120, and even the PT 5000 for just 150 pounds, I'd say it's a very good attempt. The main thing is, of course, what you can't get away from is the name, but I feel for some people it is starting to grow on them, where you just get used to looking at it and used to saying it. But you just can't get it from these jokes about how the name sounds. And yeah, I think if they sort the name out, I mean, it's never too late. I think they might really go up in popularity. Having said that, you know, the Seamaster homage of this is very popular actually. Sold quite a lot of orders, but it's been built really, really well. So that's it for my review on the Phylida Sea Dweller Homage. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and make sure you hit the subscribe button as I have a load of reviews to get through. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.